and gentlemen, All Saints Catholic Church in Dallas, Texas welcomes you to All Saints Coffee Cats.
Hey, we take those.
That sort of works.
That's awesome.
Take those, man. We take those.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Damn. Are we live?
Yes, we are live. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us
What's
for
up, people?
episode 28 of Coffee Chat. Yes, that means 28 weeks. We've been doing this.
Oh, how the time flies.
Yeah, or
Time
time
flies when you're
travels.
having fun.
Depends on
Or
what.
time travel.
Back in my day, the setup wasn't nearly as nice as it is today.
Yeah, well,
When I was
back in the last time you were here.
Yes.
That is true.
Only a few short months ago.
Yes.
Short months. That's a funny
Short
thing to think
months.
about.
Well, our
So
guest,
the-
Adam Carr.
The meme that was out there of like, March was 31 days, April was 150 days. Why are we still in May?
May was
yes,
5
short
years.
months.
Indeed.
That's right, we got Adam Carr with us, everybody. He's back, came to visit. He's up in town probably to see friends, and unfortunately got roped into being here with us as well.
Y'all are my friends.
Okay, all right, so that's what
Y'all
he
are
thinks.
Friends.
All right.
Don't be like that. I'm here for y'all too.
How cute.
I could
We
be sleeping
appreciate
right
that.
now, but I got up and I drove here for you.
Hey,
Aw.
We are glad you're
we
here.
all appreciate that.
As
We all
well.
got it for you too, Adam.
Touche.
Hey, Andrew beat me here this morning,
I did.
True story.
which, you know,
It's never gonna happen again.
we did not think would ever actually happen, but it did.
It did.
It did.
It did
And
happen.
you know why? It was for you.
Oh,
Aw.
That's right.
that's
Yep.
amazing.
How sweet.
That's amazing. Well, I texted Andrew whenever I left this morning because he's the one that actually responds to my text out of y'all three. Which is,
Wow.
hey, I'm just saying it like it is. So I figured he would be the safest one to give travel updates. So I'm texting him at 5:30, like, "Hey, I'm on the road. I'll give you travel updates. You don't need to
5:30?
respond."
I texted back.
And he texted me back.
At 5:30?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, he was up, and I was like, "Dang, Andrew. All right."
I was doing that exact same thing, but to myself.
Ah. Right
He
on.
knew he had to wake up at 5:30 to drive to be here on time,
And
and
it
he lives
worked.
5 minutes away.
You know what?
Yeah.
Different methods, but it all works. It
Did
all
you like
works.
get up at 5:30, or did you just like wake up at 5:30 and go back to sleep?
No, I got up at 5:30 and like did some push-ups and like prayed morning prayer and
Read some
It's-
texts.
yeah.
Wow.
It's great when I can do it. I think I am a morning person. I just can't get up in the morning.
What a conundrum.
So when it happens, it's nice.
No, I can't even wrap my brain around this. So yeah,
So-
I'm like really struggling to understand.
Me too.
Dang.
I
Props to you, darling. Props to you.
I generally get up at 5:30 every morning and hate it. There's a puppy who's like barking in my face that he has to be awake, and little children demanding things, and I love them. I hate that I have to be up.
Do they like bring you the like cereal and they're like, "Dad, I want cereal."
Dad, I want
No.
cereal. Here's the milk. Here's the cereal box. Here's the bowl. And you're like, okay.
Well, my friend's kids used to do that to her. They would like
Never-
bring
never
the
that.
gallon of
In
milk to
bed.
the bedroom and be like, "Mom, pour the cereal." And she's like, "Bring it to the kitchen. I'll come in there in a minute."
I mean, they gotta be at school at like 7:15.
Yeah, that's just
Which means
absurd.
you gotta get up, you gotta make lunches, you gotta get everybody dressed, you gotta get everything going
Mm-hmm.
before you even get to the cereal.
Right.
And it's like, okay, here we go. So, yeah, that it's a fun.
It's a doozy.
little
It's a
adventure at
doozy.
once. So,
Good stuff.
But anyway,
people should,
we're glad
people
you're here.
should not
Thanks
wake
for-
up before the sun.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I always say like
Fun.
5 o'clock hours, like
But I will say, watching the sunrise is pretty beautiful.
it is.
It is.
Even on the Texas freeways in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not something you should have to do every day.
No, you should not have to do it every day. I think the 5 o'clock hour is like the witching hour, and
Wow, just throwing shade at 3 o'clock like that.
Yeah.
That's its whole thing.
And
That's the
4
only thing
o'clock.
that happens at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, is that it is literally the witching hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you just
All right, so
You
I'm going to
should
say
just
that
go
we should probably
fishing.
move off the subject of
Daylight
witchcraft.
saving.
you should either go
Savings time?
fishing. Well, I was gonna call it Satan's hour, but I mean, if you want to pick one.
Oh,
Well,
not a good idea.
Man.
Not a good
You
idea.
should either be
Hello,
traveling or
everybody,
fishing.
and welcome to our live coffee chat. I'm Paul Bianchi. I am joined by these people. Adam, who is our special guest that we introduced already, and then we went on some sort of tangent that we need to get off of.
All right, back to the
Joined
sideline here.
with Adam and I today, we have...
Erica Winland.
There was an order there.
Sorry, I don't
I
know.
wasn't sure if I was next.
Guys, go! Come on, guys.
I'm Andrew Darling.
This is a train wreck already. Chelsea, that leaves literally only you. Come on.
And we broke Chelsea Collum. So.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Cullum.
Hey!
Collum, there you go.
And we finally got through our introduction.
Amen.
10 minutes in.
So glad that y'all are here with us. If you
Yes.
have questions for us, if you're still hanging on, all 6 of you, we are
Everybody's left
grateful
after
for your
that.
presence.
Yeah.
If you have questions for myself or for any of us here today, please put them there in the comment section. We would love to answer your question. Hey, Adam, I have a question for you.
I
great.
love questions.
That's the point of this.
Do you happen to have a new saint that's like you like, or you know follows you around sometimes, or I don't know, shows up in your life?
No.
No? Okay.
Truthfully, not really, but that doesn't mean that I don't have old saints that do that.
Do you
Oh,
have
all right.
saints that do that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
What about one of those?
So I got to give shout outs to my boy, St. Anthony of Padua, who
Yeah.
keeps finding my lost stuff. He's really good at that. So fun story with that. I'd heard about the devotion to St. Anthony of Padua, about, you lose something, you pray to him, and you find the thing. I'd heard about it a bunch, but I never really tried it. But whenever I was in college, I did a mission trip to Ireland that ended up also becoming a pilgrimage to Fatima. And while we were in Fatima, we just, our group kept losing stuff. And...
Hopefully
well,
not people.
Hopefully not people.
Good. Okay.
Just stuff.
Wait,
just stuff.
why did you
Hopefully?
say hopefully? You should know.
Hopefully. It's yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. There were 14 of us, and at least 13 of us came back. So, actually, while we were still in Ireland, in Dublin, there was one girl in our group who had a family heirloom ring that she brought with her. It was just this really nice ring, and apparently it was the promise ring that her dad gave her mom back when they were dating in high school and whatnot. And it became just an heirloom, and she had it, but she lost it while we were going about our business in Ireland. And I'm just going through, walking down the streets of Ireland. We're completely separated at this point, 2 different subgroups of our big group. And I look on the ground and I see a ring, and I pick it up. I'm like, I don't normally do these sorts of things, but sure, why not? I put it in my pocket just for whatever reason, right? And then we go back to our home base. I set it down on my bedside table, and we were kind of mingling and whatnot. And then one of the other folks who was with us was like, "Emily, is that your ring?" And she points to the ring I found on the ground, and she's like, "Yeah, it is. Who found it?" And I was like, "I did." And I explained that I just found it randomly on the street in Ireland, but it was her heirloom family ring that she had lost the day before.
Oh, wow.
And she had been praying to St. Anthony to find the ring. So it was like, whoa, that's holy spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy spooky. It's spooky, but in a holy way.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
So
That's very Halloween.
Saint Anthony, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
All right.
Next question.
I'm ready.
Well, okay.
I know, just saying.
Well, Chelsea, you asked the question, but I'll follow up with: does anybody have saints that they're feeling connected with this week?
I mean, I always like Saint Therese.
Yeah, she's great.
What?
Yeah, it's almost yeah.
What are the chances?
How can
Didn't even plan it. I don't know
Wow.
which camera's on.
Wait.
Sock it to me, guys.
Yeah,
Sacrilegious.
sacrilegious. There again.
Shout
But I
outs.
do love Saint Therese. Just her little way of going about things, and yeah. Do you have anybody that's
Oh man, I was
Saint
gonna
that
go
stands out for you,
last so
Paul?
that I could think about it more.
That's why I was going to ask.
So
Too bad
Andrew,
answer now.
Go ahead. Delegation.
We see, who was I thinking of earlier?
I don't know.
Well, thanks for Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You're so
Absolutely, I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Clearly, it was not a mind reader.
That's true. Maybe that's why I thought about him, so that I could aspire to that. And so, yeah, I was thinking about, we talked about him a little while back. I forget what form, but St. Dismas.
Yep.
And he's the
Dizzy
repentant
D,
thief
I love him.
who was
Yeah.
on the cross next to Jesus. We were talking about him with something in a talk or in a video or something we did a couple weeks back, and he's somebody that's been on my mind. He's a really good person to kind of just meditate on.
Erica?
Yeah, I think actually my confirmation saint more recently, I don't know a whole lot about her story. It's St. Elizabeth of Hungary.
Okay.
And it's kind of like St. Thomas Aquinas. You know, he's someone that just kind of came into my life unexpectedly, and same with her. I chose her as my confirmation saint before I knew anything about her, but she was just a name that came to mind. But her story reminds me a lot of like Mother Teresa. Just her servant leadership was something that was really inspiring to me for so long. So I like to just kind of like go back to her story every once in a while and get to know more about like how she grew up and how a lot of what she did growing up in her servant, all that kind of stuff kind of leads into the different things we see with like Mother Teresa or the new Carlo, what's his name?
Carlos Acutis.
Yes.
Yeah. And just seeing how her story and a bunch of other saints kind of like bleed into the stories we see of like the blessed people now or more modern saints.
Yeah.
Last and maybe least, Paul.
Wow.
So hold on,
You
quick
just called
side
one of the
note.
saints the least.
No, I
Oh.
called you least.
Catherine literally just signs into the thing, which there's probably a little bit of a delay going on here. Talk about Elizabeth of Hungary if you haven't yet.
Oh, she?
Yeah.
She's so good.
Catherine, that just happened. Hopefully you're catching
Catherine
it.
is a mind
I
Speak about the Queen.
Catherine's a mind reader. There we go. I actually St. Paul. We've spent so much. Well, we always spend a lot of time looking at Paul's letters through the Sunday readings, but I really coming up. We're getting back into Corinthians again, and that like the whole kind of story arc of 1st and 2nd Corinthians has always been something that I've myself looking to for inspiration with different things. And so I think once we've already done Bible studies for the next couple weeks to make sure that we're lined up for everything with the holiday coming up, and once we started looking at Corinthians again, and I started thinking about like St. Paul and the life of St. Paul and his relationship with those different communities, I think I kind of went back to him and his whole story, his conversion, and that Jesus was able to take someone who had been persecuting people in his name for so long and then turn him into one of the greatest evangelists. It's kind of a really cool thing to think about. So, yep. Favorite scripture passage? Anything new that's like, oh man, I read this the other day? And
I mean, still the same old. Good old Psalm 23, verse 4. Though I may walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me.
yes, absolutely. I got Psalm 23 coming up this Sunday, I think. Right? Christ the King
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got Christ the King Sunday coming up. So Psalm
Wow,
23.
convenient, huh?
Yeah. That's very, very fortuitous of you, sir.
Very
Indeed.
fortuitous of you.
What about you guys? Anything that really stands out? Any new scripture passages or old scripture passages or just scripture passages?
Just
They
scripture
don't have to have an age.
Got anything, Andrew?
I haven't had anything particularly new this week. We're still just looking so much at the readings for Sunday, other than Psalm 23. We're looking at Matthew 25, and it's not a parable, but it's the discussion that Jesus gives, the account he gives on the end times and separating the sheep and the goats. Just the importance of those corporal works of mercy. It's something I've been thinking about.
Right on.
Thanks.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Next question.
I think one for me that stands out is Ephesians 4, verse 1. I, then a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to live in a manner worthy of the call you have received, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another through love, striving to preserve the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. And just being reminded of the call that we've all received, but how do those, like living with humility and patience, and I think it's also the reminder, and maybe it was Andrew and I talking about it, like we're not gonna just be given the ability to be patient or humble. There's gonna be opportunities to practice said virtues, which is always lovely when those come to be. Be careful when you pray for them.
Touche.
But yes. That's all I got. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I had mentioned St. Paul in Corinthians, and this upcoming Sunday it talks about that death came through man, and so the resurrection will come through a man as well. And just the way that St. Paul writes about Adam's relationship to Jesus and Jesus relating back to Adam.
Well, that was very nice of him.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing death into the world.
You're welcome.
And that Jesus took it out.
We call that "Oh Happy Fault," sir.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. Fault is the problem there. This is your fault. Yeah, no. But I love it. As Adam, clearly it was Adam's fault. So, yeah, I mean, just again, like, I know that a lot of times we look at Sunday's readings usually on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then do these on Thursday. So I know that's kind of where our headspace is at a lot of times. But that passage is always great. That it's like, okay, we know that Jesus was fully man and fully divine, and because of the relationship of the fall of man, that man then conquers death through the resurrection.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
You got anything?
I do, yeah. Chelsea actually reminded me of Ephesians 2:10. It's something I thought of recently, and I don't remember it. Essentially about being, God's handiwork. And I think it was last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, I went to Mass at St. Francis of Assisi, and the Father for the homily was talking about using our talents and being able to recognize those and recognize that, they were there almost like before we were. They were a part of our plan for so long, and they take so long or sometimes they take long to recognize or even to see and find ways to utilize, but they're there, and the whole purpose of them is to give them back to God and find ways to use your talent to glorify God. And so essentially that's what that verse talks about, and that's something, like in this past couple of months of like trying to find jobs or trying to find ways to occupy like all this free time is something that I've really reflected on. Is like, what talents do I have? How can I utilize them, and how can I use them to glorify God?
All right. No, that's great. Sorry, Father Alphonse was asking how the coffee shop was going, so I got
It's going great, Father.
Yeah, we're doing. Yeah.
No tangents at all.
0 tangents.
Oh man. Okay. So, sorry, that totally caught me off guard. What's new? How are things going down in Lake Jackson? How's ministry going?
Things are going great down in Lake Jackson. I would say we're definitely upward trending as far as everything goes. Right now we're still doing all online for our faith formation and youth ministry stuff, but we are sprinkling in a couple of in-person events. Now I do need to specify that down where I do ministry in Lake, founding place of Buc-ee's, by the way, that...
That's right, we've got the beaver nuggets.
Yes. I brought beaver nugs for Baby Yoda. But that COVID hasn't hit it nearly as hard as in Houston or in Dallas or any of the major cities.
Right.
So we have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to the stuff we're allowed to do. That being said, our parish is still being fairly cautious. So what we've been able to do is kind of large spread out events. Specifically, we did a family adoration hour a couple weeks, like a week, I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week. where we invited all of the faith formation families, both young and old, to come along and worship the Lord with us. And it was a great chance to teach the little ones especially about adoration, but then also for the teenagers and the youth to come and do something in person. Life is still going on as normal as it can. I went to a varsity football game for our stuff, and I gotta say, our kids are amazing. Like, they're very involved in the community. One of my kids in confirmation is absolutely amazing at safety, so shout outs to him. But and just being there at a community football game was really interesting because, like, both the home stands and the away stands were being used by us, basically. The visitors had a very small group that was kind of on the away stands, but the away stands was where the band was. So, like, I was like, where the heck are all my band kids? I don't see them. And then, like, I start hearing music, and I look across. It's like, oh, they're over there. And then, like, they're doing, like, all their dancing and stuff to kind of, like, jazz everything up, if you will. And it's just like, oh, that's what those look like from up front. That's nice. Yeah. But it was a good time to come out in the community and still do stuff. And, you know, obviously we're allowed to do, like, some limited outdoor stuff as well. So we're planning on a few of those in the coming weeks whenever we get back from Thanksgiving. So trending upward.
Very cool. Yeah, I've seen that we're doing a lot of the same kind of things, a lot of outdoor stuff, a lot of spread out stuff with the ministry that we're doing here. So that seems to be working pretty well with that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the home of Bucky's. So we wanted to do something special for you today.
Did you?
As our first repeat.
Am I the first repeat?
You are the first repeat.
First repeat.
Yes.
Three of us, yeah.
And we know that you've
know.
had to do a lot of driving.
A lot of driving.
With different things. So we wanted to get you a new Toyota.
Did you?
So we did.
Sort of.
We all pitched in
We all
together,
pitched
and we went out and we got you a brand new Toyota that you can put on your dash of your Ford Focus.
Look at this.
So
My own Toyota.
yes, your very own brand
I had a
new
feeling it was
Toyota.
something like this.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
Yeah. So you know, I know you always wanted a child, so there's a child. And yeah, you can
Here,
take
maybe
them with
put 'em-
you and
put 'em on my
remember
shoulder
All
here.
Saints, since
Yeah.
we remember you
Indeed.
in this little picture here.
Indeed. Let's see. Where's a good place to put him?
Put it on the sign. It'll bounce up there.
Well, he needs to be in my lap. I mean, he's
That's
a
true,
big
that's true.
Yoda. Okay, this will
That's
work.
true.
This
There
will
you
work.
go.
Yeah.
Your
There we go.
Toyota.
Very
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much. You guys are great. You guys are great.
So
I'm
kind.
smiling ear to ear. You just can't see it. 'Cause my mask.
I'm so happy underneath all
I'm
of
so
this.
happy. See it in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true though. You can see when someone's smiling with their eyes.
You can. You can. I say that all the time. Both like to get the laugh, but also I'm kind of serious.
Yeah.
So if somebody's eyes are closed and they're smiling, do you still know?
Yes.
Yes.
I knew one of us was
That
going to
work?
do it. I knew someone would try it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Good
So I
stuff.
was waiting to see who was gonna do it.
Good
All right,
stuff.
so you got the little Yoda in your lap, which leads me
Good.
to
What
the
else?
next question. Well played. Favorite movie quote?
Oh, favorite movie quote? That's really tough, man. Really
Yeah.
tough. Like when it comes to movie
You got
stuff,
one?
Coffee chat, we
do.
don't like to ask easy questions.
you
here.
do, man. Let's see. I guess I'll say what my favorite quote from Lord of the Rings is. That seems to be a good way to go. So,
Is that your favorite movie?
it's hard to say. That's a whole other question. It's hard to
That
say.
wasn't a question.
I really don't know what my favorite movie is because I'm really easy on movies. I usually find something I like about just about every movie I watch. So I'm pretty easy when it comes to that. But I really like a lot of the quotes and stuff from Lord of the Rings. And specifically, I really love whenever in Return of the King, Gandalf is going to the Steward of Gondor and he's telling him, hey, you need to call for help from Rohan because you're about to get conquered by Sauron and that's no good for all of mankind.
Right.
And the steward is like, yo, dog, I know who's up in Rohan, that guy Aragorn, who's going to take my throne because he's the rightful king. And Gandalf, and I quote, says, it is not your right to deny the return of the king, steward. And I really like that because it parallels in Scripture the relationship King Herod had with the baby Jesus, right? Because he tried to deny the return of the king by, killing all the little babies, which is very bad. But because he was on the throne of Jerusalem, I guess, whenever Jesus is the rightful king, being from the line of David and all, both in the physical sense, but also, the spiritual sense, king of all creation, Christ the King.
That ties right into this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, look at what you did there.
Unintentional tie-in, by the way.
I like that.
Impressive.
I like that. What about you guys? Any favorite movie quotes?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I don't wanna.
That's the end. Okay, I wasn't gonna break it to y'all in like the first couple weeks, but I really like Star Wars. Like I grew up on it. It's like I could.
You
quote
act like
it,
that's
it's
taboo.
so-
I'd be weirded out
Nope,
if you
we're
didn't.
good.
We have 2 baby Yodas in the room.
I know. It wasn't
At
like
the
a
same
bad
time.
thing.
One of these things is not like the other.
Sorry.
Okay, Star Wars, go for it.
I'm out.
Okay, the episode 3 in the very beginning when they have like the crash landing,
Uh,
and I can't do like a British accent or anything, but when Obi-Wan is like another happy landing and everyone's like,
Everything's
Another
exploding
happy
on fire.
landing.
yeah, I like that. It's so funny.
I
It
love
gets
it.
me every time. It's so good.
Every time.
the best part of Star Wars is that Jar Jar Binks was only in one movie.
He was a 2.
No, he was in 3, sir.
Yeah, so
That's right, he was in 3.
You see him in the funeral of Padme, just kind of walking with everybody.
He's also the
But
one.
he doesn't actually have words.
No,
And he was still there.
he's the one that
Double
gives
doubles?
the Emperor. He's the one that introduces the vote for emergency powers. So he's
Ah.
the reason for the Empire.
So, okay.
Clearly, I need to go back.
So, Star
I'm
Wars.
glad I haven't relived those first
Worthy
3.
Star Wars tangent, and I'm also going to plug my personal podcast, Unto the Breach, and podcast about movies, games, and beyond, because we did an episode on Phantom Menace, and in that episode, I discussed that it took me, because I saw Phantom Menace in theaters as a 6-year-old. It took until the age of 13 for me to realize that people didn't like Jar Jar, and I was so confused.
Because
Jar Jar is the worst.
I'll have you know, I get that, but the thing was, I was the target demo for Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jar Jar is there for the kids.
If by target
Adam,
demo
you're
you
not
mean
making shameless plugs. You're just
so
answering questions
sad.
that people are asking.
Yeah.
Someone asked if you had a podcast by chance.
Yes, I do.
So Adam has a podcast.
I do.
He's got an episode where he breaks down the top 10 video games, but omits all the good ones.
Paul might be a little salty.
So I told him I listened to it and I was very upset about some of his answers. Anyway,
Catherine said to stop answering her questions before they're asked.
well, maybe I'm the mind reader.
maybe.
Weird. Okay, Andrew.
I mentioned this yesterday. I was watching Bridge of Spies recently, and
Uh-huh.
it's Tom Hanks and a bunch of other great actors. And he's a lawyer who's assigned to defend this Russian spy who was like very obviously guilty. It's like the stakes are very high in this case, and he keeps trying to do stuff. And the guy is so chill. He's like, you're not very anxious about this at all. Like, why aren't you nervous? He said, he keeps saying a couple times throughout, like, would it help? And it's honestly kind of like a good way to look at that, but also it's just hilarious in
Yeah.
the moment. So,
Okay.
good movie to check out.
Chelsea?
Y'all are going into all these deep movies, and it doesn't need to be that difficult.
All right then.
I'm sorry, did it get darker in here from that shade?
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying that I watch much simpler movies
Okay.
than Star Wars and Bridge of Spies. I mean,
Star Wars.
like The
I love Star Wars,
Grinch.
but
So while I was baking the other night, I was watching The Grinch,
Wait a minute. Which Grinch?
the one with Jim Carrey,
Okay.
just clarify.
and where he's in
It's
the
an
cave.
acceptable answer
And
because
he's
it is
going
a
through
It's not the most acceptable answer, but still continue.
But it is a Grinch movie, so yes.
He's going through his schedule of the day, of the evening, and he's like, 4 o'clock this, and 5 o'clock,
Wallow in
stop,
self-pity.
wallow in self-pity, and
Yeah.
stop world hunger.
I can't cancel that
And
again.
he's
Yeah. Dinner with myself.
Dinner with me. I can't cancel that again.
That is pretty
so
good. That is pretty good. So a good funny quote that I really love is from the classic movie Airplane, where I think the most memorable line from it is just like this, like they're going through a scenario and somebody goes, "Surely you can't be serious," and he goes, "Of course I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley."
Yep. Catherine
What a fantastic.
read my mind and said the animated Grinch is the best, and it's now on Netflix. I agree. The Illumination new animated Grinch is fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
Delete? Let's try to tag.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but
I don't know who Catherine Morgan is.
I just, yeah.
I immediately, whenever I think of favorite movie quotes, I always go back to Jaws. And they're out on the fishing boat, and Jaws pops up, and immediately one of them just says, I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
Very calm.
And it's just...
In the face of a 40-foot shark.
Yeah, a giant shark. I'm Your Huckleberry, which is Doc Holliday from Tombstone. Val Kilmer is fantastic. I love all the Batman movies, so lots of good quotes.
I was about to say, like, then I already know what your favorite quote is. I'm Batman.
Yeah, but that's...
Or,
Tombstone.
where's Rachel?
Where is she?
Where's the trigger pain?
That's right. And of course, how
What's
many
that?
times since wearing masks, Andrew and I
I
have been
was
joking.
born in the
I was
darkness.
born in the darkness. Yeah.
Dude, there are going to be kids who can say that.
That's right.
It's like, I was born to the masquerade goddess.
No one knew who I
I
was
didn't
until
know
I
their
put on
faces
the
until I was
mask.
already a man. And by then it was blinding.
Oh man. Thanks, COVID. You brought all kinds of fun things to the world. Not yourself though.
Everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, then what is your favorite movie? If it's not Lord of the Rings.
I really don't have a favorite movie. I'm going to be very blunt about that. I have favorite movies, but usually you have to go like by genre and be like, yeah, I think that would be the best one of this genre, of that genre. Would you like an example? Like, give me a genre and I can give you.
I
my
mean, clearly
Yeah.
your taste in video games is wrong.
Top 5 favorite movies.
I can't even do
I
that.
just-
I
I
can't
really?
even do that.
I don't even know if
can't
I
even
can do
do
top
that.
5.
I can't even do that. Give me a genre.
I think you would have to. I think I agree. I think you'd have to go genre.
You
And
can't come up with like your top 5, just like
No,
Or
because it's like
what's the
comparing.
movie-
It's like comparing apples to potatoes.
what's the movie
Yes.
that you can like watch? One of those movies that you can watch just over and over again, no matter what day it is,
Probably.
and no matter how many times you've seen it.
Okay, and a really good rewatchable movie is Lord of the Rings Extended Edition, or Star Wars, or Harry Potter, or blah 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 blah. I can go on and on and on about
The
that.
good thing about Lord of the
I don't
Rings
watch any of
Extended Edition is that you could literally watch it an entire day. It takes about 24 hours. Sorry, man.
No, I totally get it, and that's what makes it instantly rewatchable. I seriously wrote my graduate thesis while I had Lord of the Rings in the background.
Which tells you exactly how entertaining it is.
Boo! Boo!
I had to throw
Okay.
a little bit of shit. I like.
Catherine wants to know your favorite rom-com.
My favorite rom-com.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a good question. So I will admit I have not seen too many rom-coms, so my apologies, Catherine.
Does The Princess Bride count as a rom-com?
No.
Absolutely.
No, it's
you
not.
really can't. You really can't.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Such a good movie.
No, it's
Gosh,
not.
like the only one that
It's
I'm
not even
thinking
a good
of
movie.
is that one where like that lady goes to Rome and she makes a wish in the Trevi Fountain, and
I've seen that Hallmark movie.
and
I think this is like a.
and just hijinks ensue as a bunch of men like fall, or she steals some coins from Trevi Fountain, and like a bunch of
Goonies.
random men fall in
Rom-com?
love with her, and she has to like stave them off. And there's one guy who she likes, who's a bit of a klutz, who she really wants to be in love with him, and she thinks that she might have stolen one of his coins, and she didn't want it to be fake love, and it turned out to be real love, and I don't remember what the
And,
movie's name was, so I apologize,
No
Catherine.
idea what you're talking
Catherine, do you have any idea? Catherine also said you said any genre.
I did,
Yeah.
I did. I opened myself up for
You
this.
had an
and-
answer.
You
Catherine,
saw a
do
weakness
you
and you went
know-
for it, and I
Yeah.
appreciate
Catherine
that.
says I know exactly what you're talking about. What is he talking about, Catherine? Because none of us know.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it. Okay, favorite rom-com.
Probably The Proposal.
That was actually what I was saying. That's the one where they, like, to get him like citizenship, right?
Betty White dancing in the woods.
I
Yes.
have no idea what
Yes,
movie
okay.
you're talking about.
Oh, yes.
That was
Sandra
your
Bullock.
I
answer?
was gonna give him an answer. I don't
That was
haven't
my
seen
answer,
it in a while.
yeah.
It's Sandra
Wow.
Bullock, Ryan Reynolds, and Betty White, and it is just classic.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, it's such
When
worth a
in
watch.
Rome.
Win in Rome.
Yeah.
They win in Rome, yes.
That's
Yes, I'll go with
With
that one.
question marks, so it doesn't sound like she's sure either.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Pretty sure that's what it was. That makes sense.
You
now.
and Danielle should watch The Proposal this weekend.
51st, or yeah, I'll go with that one.
51st Dates is your favorite rom-com?
Yeah.
You need to watch more movies.
Yeah. We gotta get more rom-coms.
Are you talking about the one with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You need
Okay,
some
yes.
movies.
When in Rome was a film that was made in 2010 with Kristen Bell and Josh Duhamel.
Now,
All right,
I'm pretty
can
sure.
we jump ahead?
Yeah, I guess.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite
Die
Christmas
Hard.
movie.
It's not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard.
So,
it's
if
a
you're-
Christmas movie
No, it's not.
Okay, so side note on Die Hard.
or Home Alone.
Some
Those
people
two.
like. I definitely like the joke of Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
Not a
but
joke.
to which
It
I
is a
would
joke.
say, why would
Not a
you
joke.
pigeonhole Die Hard into a specific time of year? Watch it any time of
Well,
year.
Whoa, yes, absolutely. But
Just
it's still a
especially-
great Christmas movie.
You don't
Yeah.
need an excuse to watch it, man.
Nope,
You don't need an excuse. Watch it out of season. Watch it out of season.
I watch it all.
So
the
my
seasons.
favorite Christmas movie, without a shadow of a doubt, is Miracle on 34th Street, the one from the 50s, I believe. Like it's the
Yeah.
really famous one that everybody knows. Specifically, it has to be the black and white version because
Yeah.
the colorized version, like I have an eye for color stuff now since I worked in animation, and it's just like, oh man, I see where. So now I just prefer the black and white, but. Really,
1947.
1947.
Yep.
Really just a sincerely great Christmas movie. And our family, we actually watch it on Thanksgiving evening because Miracle on 34th Street starts with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yep.
So that's how we start the season as well.
So it's a Thanksgiving.
Oh, what?
It does.
National
Starts-
Lampoon's Christmas is a good one too.
It is.
That-
Yeah, I don't
Christmas
know.
Vacation is also
I
good.
So-
have 3 favorites.
Yeah.
That movie, really quick, Miracle on 34th Street, the color version was my sister's favorite movie as a kid, only because when the little girl is in the window of the hotel and she sticks her tongue out, either stick her tongue out at Santa or like somebody down on the street. I don't know if you know exactly what I'm talking about, but all she would go to my mom and be like, "Mom, the one where the little girl sticks her tongue out," and that's what she wanted to watch.
That's the part she remembers.
We were like,
There you go.
"Okay then, sure."
I say, I don't remember that part. Are you sure that's in the one from the 40s? Because there was
No,
there's
it's
a
in the
remake.
color
It's like
No,
the
the
remake.
remake.
There's
the
a
redone
color.
version.
It's in the remake. I don't
It's
know
in the
if it's in
remake
the
from the
original.
90s with I
Yeah.
think Pierce Brosnan is in
Yes.
that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
James Bond?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
Matilda,
not bad.
and
Yeah.
Matilda
Matilda
plays
is
the
the
little
girl.
girl, and it's
It's
just
not bad.
not as good. And like
I
the
love
court
her.
case is concluded in like the most
yeah, that's
hammy, sort of not really good legalese way. So
Which is why Die Hard is the best Christmas movie.
Okay, so you
All
said you
right,
have
Andrew?
This is well, okay. So I'm going to the Muppet Christmas Carol, and here's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like a Christmas Carol, I mean that's just one of my favorite
Classic story.
Yeah,
Classic, yeah.
fantastic. We,
scare an old man to death. Love it.
yeah, there you go. Sort of, yeah.
Scare him into jolliness.
There you go. Yes, you kind of like Christmas. Well, you're not here now.
I like the
But
Disney one.
we always we watched different versions of the Christmas Carol growing up. We'd go see it live downtown whenever they would do that every year. But we always watched the Muppet version because we had it and we liked the Muppets, I guess. And the music in that is just that's just what I always watched with my family. And it's actually very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I hear a
that's
lot
my
of people
go-to.
say that's their favorite.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
My favorite Christmas Carol is Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yes.
It's an
Okay.
animated one, and Scrooge
Jacob
McDuck
Marley.
is Scrooge.
You
Now,
hear
Goofy being
falling
Jacob.
down the stairs.
Oh, so good.
So good.
So
Yes,
good because it's
I
like
love that.
because it's like classic. Geez, just funny fall Goofy. I'm blanking on
the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Well done, sir. Well done.
Totally unplanned.
Yeah.
So you said you had 3.
Huh?
You said you had 3 favorite movies.
Oh, Christmas movies.
Yes.
Die Hard, Home Alone, and I don't know if it's Christmas.
Die Hard and Home Alone are basically the same movie, though.
Yeah. That's okay.
That's why it's time.
Yeah, it's fine.
One of them was when Bruce Willis was a kid named Macaulay Culkin. And the
Yeah.
other one's when Macaulay Culkin was an adult named
Bruce
John
Willis.
McClane. All right. So,
What was your favorite Christmas movie?
I almost don't want to say. A Christmas Story. And it's
Oh,
more of
yes.
like,
okay, yes, no,
I mean,
that's
Excellent
yeah,
one,
it's
too.
good. It's
Excellent
like
choice.
horrible,
Yeah,
but it's also like it's more of a nostalgic thing. Like
Yeah.
you know how it's on like 24 hours.
Oh,
that's
yeah, on
all we
AMC.
do Christmas Day.
Mhm.
Like we'll
Yeah.
eat and stuff, but it's on in the background, and you won't watch it and sit and watch it all the way through. You watch like 30 minutes here and there.
Here and there,
Yep.
yep.
From like start to finish.
Yeah.
Start to finish,
Just
right.
shoot your eye out. Yep.
You'll hear people like yelling out the quotes across the house.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I do love that movie. I do love that movie.
It's
Excellent
good.
choice. Excellent choice.
Chelsea.
Thank you.
I think I would have to go with Christmas with the Cranks.
Okay.
I've never seen
Yep.
it. Worth a laugh. Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, and my family will watch it all day on Christmas Day.
They put it on loop themselves.
I need to rewatch that
Pretty
one.
much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we have to watch it. And my dad will stand there and watch it and laugh like he's never seen it before. And I'm like, Dad, you've seen this 100 times, and he just thinks it's hilarious.
All right.
Because it is. That, Home Alone, A Christmas Story, The Santa Claus. Oh, hold on. The Polar Express.
Ooh.
That is a
I-
movie.
That
Is that a
Love
Christmas
that.
movie?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Polar
Have you
Express.
not seen the Polar Express?
No.
Oh, Paul.
So first, I
Oh,
will.
that's a great family movie.
Oh no, my kids have seen it. I
Okay.
usually just leave the room.
So
I don't know why, but it's just.
is it because of the uncanny valley, Paul? You can be honest with us here.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh man, it's
Probably it's like, let's
good.
watch a Christmas movie. So they put on Polar Express and I go watch Die Hard.
So
Do you know the premise
Not
of the
appropriate
movie?
for my kids anyway.
So I'll say the story of the Polar Express is really
I have
fantastic.
read I've read the book.
Okay.
But I will say some films I think age really well. They age like a fine wine. The animation in Polar Express at times is aged like a fine milk.
Yeah.
It's just
It really has.
like
Yeah, but it's
it's
just
because
so
it was like
good.
the
That
first.
sounds like hot ice cream.
It was like
It
motion
was the
capture.
very first time they did like a full facial capture
Yeah.
thing, and
Oh,
there are lots of
yes.
moments where
Yes.
it looks horribly awkward and uncanny. And
Yeah,
I'm not going to
okay.
pretend like it isn't.
Yeah, but
That's the Tom
But
Hanks.
you're,
Yeah, Tom Hanks is like every
But
time.
ultimately, it is the story of of child Tom Hanks, the son of Tom Hanks, going on a train conducted by Tom Hanks, haunted by the ghost of Tom Hanks, to go see Tom Hanks in the North Pole.
So it's like Chris.
sure.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
really good. I
good
still
for
love
this.
it. I
So-
still love it. But man,
We have
they
a
need to
serious
remake
question.
it.
Oh, good. A serious question.
We have a serious
Thank
question
goodness.
because well,
Wow.
okay, we have one quick unserious question,
Okay.
and
Oh,
you
okay.
can't explain. You just have to like give an answer, and then
Okay.
we're gonna have the serious question, but it's gonna take more time.
Don't
Favorite flavor of bagel?
What?
My favorite is the cinnamon sugar one from Einstein Bagels.
My favorite is just a donut because bagels are sad donuts.
I agree with you. That's why I get cinnamon sugar on the bagel.
I don't eat a lot of bagels, but something with like cinnamon sugar would be my go-to, I guess, if I did.
You know, Erica, what do you think?
Everything bagel.
The everything bagel
Super good.
Yeah, I'm going everything bagel.
and everything
Okay.
bagel.
I do like the cinnamon sugar one. But yeah,
You
I'll
see,
go
I just like
everything
donuts. I just like
I
donuts.
do like donuts.
Yes.
Okay, serious question time then.
Serious question time. Adam,
Yes.
please talk about your transition from more of a corporate job to ministry.
Okay, sure.
Differences in work culture, mental health, etc.
Okay, so who
Thank
asked
you,
that? Is
Catherine.
Catherine? Yes, great question.
She said
Catherine.
we needed at least one serious question in here.
Okay, yes, I appreciate you, Catherine. You're still the MVP. You're still the MVP, and I love it. So, so before I was in youth ministry professionally, I worked at an animation studio here in Dallas. And in the entertainment industry, the culture is very much like, what have you done for me lately? Now sort of stuff. And to heck with your free time, the project comes first sort of thing. And there's a lot of jobs where the culture is like internally, if you're like, hey, I want to spend some of my vacation days, there's kind of like that sneer of, oh, you're not being a team player or stuff like that, right? I think especially at my old place of business that there were lots of moments where like the people who were in my department, I wasn't very close to at all. But the people in other departments who would come and sit at the lunch table with me, I was good friends with. So I still talk to the people from the lunch table, but not necessarily the folks who are in my same department. And that's been very interesting to see in retrospect that, the people who I spent the most time with just ultimately, we were just kind of there for the sake of being there. And it was definitely really stressful. I would say at that time, my highlight of every week was coming here to be a core team member because, it kind of made it all worthwhile at times. And again, yeah, it was stressful because the entertainment industry just doesn't really care too much about you as an individual, I guess would be the best way to describe it, because they care about, the bottom line. We got to pump this thing out in order to pay the bills, and everything else is auxiliary to that at times. Whereas now in professional ministry, I actually really like all of my coworkers, quite frankly. There's a lot more just relaxation. There's not fires every 5 seconds, right? Because some client from Hollywood doesn't have the right flavor of coffee in their room, or just other miscellaneous things. And even though I would say that both jobs I've had unexpected challenges and unexpected things that became major parts of my job, I would say that in ministry it's been a lot more rewarding on the full scale of things, because there's a lot more variety in the things that I end up doing, right? I really like the challenge of whenever the Rona hit, of having to adapt to digital ministry, because I had, at least on a hobby, been doing digital stuff like on YouTube and whatnot every now and then. So I had those skills, and I was able to bring our church up to speed, and really and it's a kind of a consistent story with a lot of youth ministries, that they kind of became the de facto IT people whenever that happened, both in my diocese and also elsewhere. That it's just like we bring everything up to speed, and we keep rolling, we adapt to the punches, and it's been infinitely more rewarding as a whole, for sure.
I'm gonna piggyback.
Yes.
For a minute.
Do so.
I will say that my time in ministry has been very blessed with the opportunity to get to meet people and kind of see where they're at, different things that are going on. I mean, Andrew was one of our youth that was here in the program.
Mm-hmm.
He went to seminary. He's come back. He's now working here and everything. We were very blessed here at All Saints to have you as a core member.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and I going out to lunch and sitting down and talking about things, and we had conversations about how your job was going, but you had started to explore the idea of getting into ministry, and we had a lot of really good conversations around that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember some of the dynamics that you had at your current job, or at your former job.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you and I about how things were going to go and what things were going to look like. And we'd worked out a plan. And that plan did not work. Neither one of us wanted it to, right?
Yeah.
Like things didn't go the way we thought they were going to go at that time. But then I can look at things retrospectively,
mm-hmm.
and look at and say, as hard as it was to lose you as a core member here, how beautiful it is to know that the family continues to grow down in Lake Jackson, mm-hmm. because skills that you have brought to them. Mm-hmm. That God knows exactly where we are called to be and when we are called to be there. Because I know that was in October. In January, you got this job down there at Lake Jackson, and I even remember getting the phone call as a reference. Thank you for thinking that.
No. Thank you for agreeing to be a reference.
But yeah, I mean, he I remember talking to them on the phone, and finally she got on. We were at the end of the conversation. I was like, I think he'd be really good, but if you don't want him, that's good too. I'm like, and she. I don't remember who it was that called, but I remember laughing and thinking to myself, like, man, how beautiful is it that my youth minister always told me, you will be successful in your job if you train your replacement. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of always, and that was, for me, that was always kind of the mindset, is like, I can only be as successful as I am in ministry if I'm making sure that I have equipped people to take my place if I go. Mm-hmm. And I had nothing to do with that, other than the fact that I got to be your reference, right? All of this is by the grace of God. This is the same with Andrew, right? Like, mm-hmm. Andrew is here by the grace of God, not because he had literally the best youth minister ever. No, he did not.
What?
Like,
he didn't have Chelsea.
He had Matt. He had Matt.
That's right, he had Matt.
So, and then I tried to undo all of that, And it didn't work because Matt was so good. But it really, you know, as I was reading the question that Catherine asked, I remembered some of the stuff that was happening in the corporate world as you were going through everything with the animation studio, and then remember the conversations we had leading up to you going into ministry, and now the joy that you have because you are in ministry. Mm-hmm. Not that you were ever a unjoyful person, but it's like weight has been lifted off of you, and that you are truly vocationally living that joy by doing youth ministry. And that's a really cool thing to see. I mean, I really tried to pray the litany of humility often, but then things like this, and it's like, I'm proud of Adam. Like, this is awesome to see. It's, you know, because I was Moses' youth minister, knowing that I had some sort of impact even on this generation is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. I thought Moses was your youth minister and that you were Abraham's youth minister.
Oh, yes, that's
Lincoln.
what it was. I was Abraham's youth minister, not Lincoln.
Not Lincoln.
Not Lincoln. Right. Which,
timeline works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to be very,
Going for the
very
back, yeah.
specific.
Dorothy Day has a quote that says, "You will know your vacation by the joy that it brings you."
Thought you were going to say Dorothy Day asked a question, and I was like, huh? What is that, time travel?
Time travel!
We've got to
Trying to be
experiment
serious
with this
for a
time
second,
travel
Paul,
stuff.
and you,
You're in the wrong place for serious. But no, it's all good. It's all good, yeah. And I totally agree with that notion, right? Because ultimately it's like, you know, I would say, like, financially I'm making more in ministry than I was in my previous job, which, you know, anybody who works in ministry is like, whoa. So it's just, and then on top of that, like, just the job satisfaction, what Catherine was getting at, just like my typical mental state, like, I'm not overly stressed about stuff that happens at work anymore, you know, especially when it's just some mundane stuff that I don't really care about, but somebody else does, and I care that they're giving me grief, right? So it's infinitely more rewarding. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Also true.
All right, any more questions?
yes.
All right, let's hear them.
I'm not getting any of these.
Well,
Are we on 2 feeds again?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are.
Ah,
There's-
We are.
Clear that other one.
Allie Gilliland wants to know.
Yo, Allie, good to see you.
Allie!
Well,
Allie.
it's good for you to see me, I
Miss
should
Allie.
say.
Glad
I
you
miss
can
you.
see me.
Let's meet up today. Actually, we are. But anyway, that's another story.
Weird.
Maybe she'll come to the church. But anyway, favorite board game.
Ooh, favorite board game. That's a great question.
I have a new favorite board game.
Ooh, okay, I gotta think about this for a
I'll go
second.
first if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, latest favorite board game is called, I believe it's called Amazed by Neil Patrick Harris. So good if you haven't played it.
Oh, we have that here somewhere.
Do we?
It's in one of our coffins.
What?
One of the, yeah.
How did I not know this?
I'm pretty sure we have it here
So
somewhere.
our current favorite thing to have at our house,
Uh-huh.
now that I have housemates, is game nights.
Uh-huh.
And one of my housemates, her brother has a board game backpack. And one of the games in the backpack, because that's how much they love board games, is Amazed, and it's amazing.
Hence the name.
Indeed.
Is the name.
Indeed.
We should play it.
Yeah.
Duly noted, duly
I like-
noted.
I
So
like games.
now that I've had a
Yes.
chance to think about it, I would say my favorite board game, and I'm going to kind of stretch the definition of board game here a little bit, is Uno, but specifically Uno Attack. All right?
Oh.
So that would be a call, but anyway.
So, look, I understand it's a card game, but like, so just so you understand, whenever I was going through the game design program at UT Dallas Whoosh, they made
Gotta mention that.
they made a distinction between video games and analog games, which includes board games, dice games, card games, the full shebang. Okay, so I consider within the board game category card games. So I'm going to answer Uno Attack because there have been many wonderful, wonderful rounds of Uno Attack where my brothers and I might have yelled at each other some things that